Welcome back. In this video, I'm officially kicking off the incredible Pekoe Trail here in Sri Lanka. But before I lace up my hiking boots, my biggest tip is to arrive in Kandy a day early. There's so much to see here before you hit the trail. From the views at Bahirawakanda Buddhist Temple to the temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, Kandy Lake, and the old prison. After enjoying a day exploring Kandy, stock up on any supplies you need for the trail, get a delicious meal and a good night's rest before hitting the trail the day after. Day 1, Stage 1. Fuel up with a classic masala dosa, then jump in a tuk-tuk to head up to the mountain. My destination? The Ceylon Tea Museum, which doubles as the official start point for Stage 1. You can use the local Pick Me or Uber app to get yourself a tuk-tuk without having to negotiate on the street. From the city centre, it cost me about 800 rupees and took about 20 minutes to get to the Ceylon Tea Museum. Quick heads up, if you're planning this, the museum is closed on Mondays, so plan your start day accordingly. On the ground floor, you get a short guided tour to see the vintage tea processing equipment. As you head up, there's a small museum detailing the massive history of the tea trade in Sri Lanka. But the best part? When you reach the top floor, your entrance ticket gets you a complimentary cup of fresh Ceylon tea. Tea drunk, it's time for me to complete the first stage of the Pekoe Trail. Right at the trailhead behind the museum, a gentleman was checking to see if I'd paid for my Pekoe Trail pass. You've got some options here. You could pay about $10 a stage, which goes directly towards managing and maintaining these beautiful routes. But since I'm planning on completing the entire trail, I instead opted for the full membership. You can check their website to see which option fits your plans best. Stage 1 starts right behind the museum and immediately climbs up through the vibrant tea fields. The views here are stunning. Now, the official Pekoe Trail app says this stage should take about 4 hours to cover just shy of 13 kilometers. But if you do a lot of hiking or trail running like I do, you'll find that it's a pretty easy, manageable path. I actually managed to knock it out in just a couple of hours. The route was fairly simple to follow, looking at these orange signs here. I'd also found a GPX online which I downloaded onto my watch. I found that this wasn't quite as accurate though. And finally, of course, you've got the Pekoe Trail app, which you can use as long as you've got an internet connection. If you're enjoying this video so far, please do give it a like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with other episodes in this Pekoe Trail series. On stage 1, it would seem you're never too far away from a cup of tea. You'll pass through a few small towns like this, and the final kilometre or so is a walk on the road up to the main town. It was getting towards 12 o'clock, so I decided to get myself a well-deserved lunch at Kafona restaurant. Despite living in China and having Chinese food most of the time, I went for the chicken chop suey and I can highly recommend it. If your plan is just to walk stage 1 to Galaha, then you can take a bus back to Kandy from here. The buses leave about every hour from the bus station, which you'll already have passed on the way up to the restaurant. For me, however, I wanted to push on further. I'd read online through the Pekoe Trail website and app that stage 2 wasn't the safest to do by yourself. It seems like some of the recent weather had destroyed parts of the trail, so instead I opted to walk along the main road. The road was scenic enough, but I'm sure not as good as some of the scenery that will come up in later stages. Passed by temples and churches, and there were plenty of little shops along the way should you need a bottle of water or a little snack. Eventually I saw the sign for Del Tota where my hotel was. Del Tota is the next town along and sits about halfway through stage 2, making it the perfect place to rest up and figure out your next move. I stayed here in Del Tota Village Hotel, which was a pretty good budget option. After walking 20 kilometers in the morning, I decided to rest in the hotel room in the afternoon. As the sun was setting, I ventured up and down the high street in the search of food. I ended up going for a portion of chicken kotu at New Star Hotel. As you're still watching, you better subscribe to keep up to date with the next stages of the Pekoe Trail.